Committee, we'll go ahead and get started. Pretty light agenda today, some fun stuff. First up's bill introduction. Senator Corson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have three bill introductions. The first is RS 2871. This deals with the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration's Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse. The second one, I'm sorry, I'll stop there.
Committee, are there any questions? Any objections? Bill will be introduced.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The second one is RS 2872. This deals with even exchange for military members regarding commercial driver's licenses.
Any questions? Any objections? Bill will be introduced.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And the third and final one is RS 2869, and it deals with mobile driver's licenses.
Question, Senator Tyson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Could you explain more as to what that is?
So this, the way I understand it, this would just allow the Department of Vehicles to start the process of kind of understanding what that potentially could look like. So this would not be the final, like there would not be an issuance of a mobile driver's license, but it would be allowing them to gather information and kind of understand what other states are doing and whether that could ultimately be a workable situation for the state of Kansas. So it's sort of the first step in initiating kind of if that is something that we should further consider.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just have concerns over this. I guess I would prefer an informational hearing, but a bill introduction, I won't object. I'll tell you, I've been contacted by at least 3 constituents in the last day as to the concern about illegals obtaining driver's licenses in Kansas. And I'm afraid with some of the technology that it's easier and it makes us more vulnerable as a state. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. And I very much understand that concern. And I think what this is just creating a process for revenue to look at all of those issues, some of which the good senator has brought up. So I think this is kind of the first step, and hopefully, you know, they can come back to us after having done some of this work, and we can ask further questions and better understand whether or not we think this is something that we could or should pursue in Kansas. So those are all very good points, and I think this just again puts us in a position where we can come back with better answers to those very good questions that were raised.
Further questions or objections to 2869? Seeing none, the bill will be introduced. Are there any further bill introductions from either the committee or the audience? Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. My name is Lieutenant Roy Wise. I'm with the Kansas Highway Patrol. And on behalf of my agency, I'd like to respectfully request the introduction of 24 RS 2791. It's an act concerning traffic regulations, and it creates the crime for operating a motor vehicle at a speed of 100 miles per hour or more. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Committee, any questions or objections? Seeing none, the bill will be introduced.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Committee, just as a remander, tomorrow will be the last day for our committee to accept bill introductions since we're not planning on meeting Friday or Monday. So tomorrow will be the last day. With that, we'll turn our attention and open up the hearing on Senate Bill 359. Or Adam, you want to give us a briefing?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senate Bill 359 would provide for a new distinctive license plate, the Kansas City Chiefs license plate. The plate will be subject to the usual $250 initial plate commitment and payment of up to $5,000 in development costs, as such requirements are set forth in KSA 8-1,141. For individuals, initial registrations and subsequent renewals of the plate would be made through the county treasurer. An annual local use royalty payment fee in the amount of $25 up to $100 would be determined by the Kansas City Chiefs Football Club, Inc. and such payments would go towards the Hunt Family Foundation. And with that, I'd be happy to stand for any questions.
Committee questions? Senator Tyson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And it may be for research, this question, but as we allow these licenses to come on board, there's certain dollar amounts that go to other funds. Could we get a list of the current licenses and how much they are receiving with the current license plate system, Mr. Chairman? I know it's a pretty big ask, Jill, but I think we should understand when we poke the balloon where we're impacting other items. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Research will do their best on that. Committee, further questions for Adam? Seeing none, we have our first come free. First up, Kelly Warren. Senator Warren.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, Mr. Ranking Minority Member, and members of the committee. I'm Kelly Warren, and I'm honored to represent Senate District 11 in the state of Kansas. Thank you very much for the opportunity to testify today in support of Senate Bill 359, and it's very exciting to stand here in support of this bill that would, if enacted, allow for a distinctive Kansas City Chiefs license plate here in Kansas. As someone who grew up about 20 minutes away from Arrowhead Stadium in Overland Park, where I grew up, and now 15 miles away from the stadium with my family, it's exciting to be able to partner with the Kansas City Chiefs and present this to the Kansas Legislature. I think so many times these days, what makes the headlines and what we talk about are the issues that divide us. However, sports and local sports team is one thing that can unify us from whatever your political background, whatever your walk of life, of all ages. It's something exciting that we can all stand up and cheer for. And I think a lot of us have spent a good portion of this last year doing just that, is standing up and cheering for the Kansas City Chiefs. So it would be exciting for those in Chiefs Kingdom across the state line from the Chiefs and across our state to see our proud support shown on our Kansas vehicles as Kansans, and those who visit our state and on our roadways from other areas. There are Kansas City Chiefs fans from around the country. So with this bill, it would also be providing some resources for the good work that the Hunt Family Foundation does. And I just wanted to share a little bit about that as well. We would have a representative from the Kansas City Chiefs here today to testify, but you can imagine they're all busy getting ready for a pretty big game in 11 days for the team. So the Hunt Family Foundation is committed to making a positive impact in communities on the Kansas and Missouri side. I think I shared earlier when talking about the bill that 55% of their effort is going towards children health and wellness, 25% for children and families in crisis, another 15% for civic responsibility, and then because it's the Hunt Family Foundation, 5% is committed to preserving the legacy of the Kansas City Chiefs and the NFL. So it's exciting to get to partner with also so many of my Senate colleagues who, many of you sit here on this committee with me and have co-sponsored the bill as well from both parties. And I think it's exciting to see. I've been sharing it with others that we have this bill, and they're excited to hear about it too. So with that then, I'd like to say thank you for our friends at the Kansas City Chiefs Football Club who reached out to me personally and asked if I would help put this bill together and bring it to the legislature. And again, so many of my colleagues, thank you to staff for helping put it together. And with that, Mr. Chair, I'm happy to stand for any questions, and I'll say go Chiefs.
Committee questions. Senator Schallenberger.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for bringing this bill. Is there an NFL logo problem? Do you know what the license plate is going to look like?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Senator. There's been a proposal by the chiefs, nothing that has been approved by the Director of Revenue or the Department of Revenue yet. The bill does require that the chiefs would work together with the state to make sure that it's something that's doable, both with a logo and that it meets the state requirements for what our license plates needs to look like. If I've answered that correctly, Mr. Revisor. Mr. Chair, if Adam has some comments to make.
Adam, if you want,
No, I mean, shoot, that was answered correctly. The bill does provide that the chiefs would essentially have to approve the use of their logo to be put on the plate. So we would not obviously be taking the chief's logo. They would approve it, and then the design of the plate would have to be approved by the Division of Vehicles because there are certain requirements on each plate, how the design goes. So they would work in collaboration to design the plate.
just to note, on the chief CFO's written testimony, he says the chiefs would license the logo to the state of Kansas for use. Committee, further questions? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, committee.
Are there any neutrals wishing to testify on this? Are there any San Francisco, opponents? Seeing none, we'll close the hearing on Senate Bill 359. We'll turn our attention to 342. Adam.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senate Bill 342 would also provide for a new distinctive license plate. This one is the Sedgwick County Zoo license plate. The plate would be also subject to the 250 initial plate commitment and payment up to $5,000 in the development costs. Initial registrations and subsequent renewals could be made through either the county treasurer or the Sedgwick County Zoological Society, who would provide a local use authorization statement. Additionally, there'd be an annual local use royalty payment fee as determined by the Sedgwick County Zoological Society, an amount of $225 up to $100. And such fees would go towards the Sedgwick County Zoological Society. And with that, I'd be happy to stand for any questions.
Committee questions? Seeing none, thank you, Adam. First up, we have Scott Newland. Welcome to the committee.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, committee. My name is Scott Newland. I am President and CEO of the Sedgwick County Zoo. Thank you for this opportunity to present some brief information about the zoo and our proposal for this new zoo license plate that we'd like to offer to the community and our friends across the state of Kansas. As you will learn this morning, community pride in our zoo is at an all-time high. Just some quick history. In 1963, Sedgwick County Zoological Society, Inc., a non-for-profit charitable educational organization, was chartered by a group of local community leaders to foster public interest and support for creating a new zoo in Wichita. The Sedgwick County Zoo first opened on August 25th, 1971, with the American and Asian farm exhibits, and the zoo has steadily progressed through the past 5 decades with major expansions and exhibits opening every few years. What started with 2 domestic farm exhibits on 212 acres of undeveloped land is now one of the country's top zoos and the #1 outdoor tourist attraction in the great state of Kansas. Home to more than 3,000 animals of nearly 400 different species, our mission of inspiring respect and conservation of wildlife and wild places. The Sedgwick County Zoo has a very unique corporate structure in that the zoo is a partnership with the government of Sedgwick County and the Zoological Society Board of Directors. The directors govern the zoo with a negotiable contract from Sedgwick County. This model has been looked upon as very successful and sought after by many zoos across the country as an excellent way to operate a zoo. Because of this model, the zoo is able to raise funds from the community for operation and capital improvements alike. A recent consumer and economic research in 2023 paints a robust picture of the zoo and how we are looked at in our community. Overall favorability of the zoo has remained at a 97% high. Our annual attendance averages 600,000 guests. Nearly half of our visitors travel to the zoo from out of the county. We have nearly 17,000 households in Sedgwick County that hold zoo memberships. Our annual economic impact to our community is $59.4 million. We have been recognized nationally and internationally with awards for our field conservation and successful breeding of rare and endangered species. The Sedgwick County Zoological Board is comprised of nearly 30 corporate, governmental, and private citizens in the Wichita community. Representatives from major industry are vital to our board and compose of businesses including Textron Aviation, Spirit Aerosystems, Koch Industries, Evergy, and many others. In addition to opening many exhibits over the years, providing quality care to our animals, and participating and contributing in conservation and research initiatives, the zoo provides many other valuable experiences to our community members. We provide daily interactions to the public, including keeper chats, animal training sessions, and unique animal experiences. The zoo strives to develop and execute a variety of special event programming to attract all visitors from all parts of our community in the region. Zoo focuses on the reaching students of Title I schools through general visitation opportunities and educational programming. The diversity of programming through our education department is designed to reach all ages and all socioeconomic classes and groups. A variety of our in-house programs are offered as well as zoo outreach programs for those who can't make it to the zoo. For example, we do a lot of trips to senior centers. The zoo also takes several veterinary interns each year, as well as student practicums and internship opportunities that allow students the ability to work through various departments of the zoo. And we also have a very extensive volunteer program. With me here this morning is a longtime employee and volunteer, and I would like to say one of our best friends of the zoo, Miss Barb Hoppins. It is actually Barb who came to us with the idea for the plate, and Barb and her family have actually provided the underwriting to support and accomplish all the work that we've done so far for the plate. I just wanted to publicly recognize Barb for her support and her work, her creativity, and really pushing us to try to get this license plate offered to our friends in the community. So with your approval, we would be able to reach thousands of people to inform them of this new opportunity, and that selecting a zoo license plate will assist the zoo and support us in both of our operations and our conservation efforts alike. Thank you for your consideration, and we welcome you all to visit Sedgwick County Zoo next time you're in town.
Committee questions? Could we have Barb stand up and show us that plate design? Looks nice. Is there anybody wishing to further testify as a proponent? Thank you, Mr. Newland. Any neutrals? Any opponents? We do have a question. Senator Warren.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This would be a question for the reviser, if I may. I don't recall, do our distinctive license plates require the county to be designated on the plate as well?
Adam.
I'd have to check, but I believe that requirement only exists for the standard plate, not the distinctive plate, but I will check and get back to you on that.
Thank you. Just a question. Thank you.
Committee, further questions? Seeing none. No further business coming before us. Once again, tomorrow's the last day for bill